So guys, tell me, how many times you heard about adding a lot of width and depth for your mixes? Yeah, it's very important, but unfortunately, it's definitely possible to make your mixes too wide. Overly wide mixes are very easy to spot. They sound hollow, lack low-end punch, but first things first, they completely fall apart in mono. If you ever stumbled upon this issue and you want to make your mixes wide without triggering any of those weird artifacts and effects, this video is for you. There's a chance you damaging your mix unconsciously, so before you start any type of processing, especially widening and panning, be sure about your listening environment. The key for mixing wide and deep tracks on your monitors is to have them positioned correctly. Speaking of headphones, it's completely okay to use them and you actually can achieve wide and great sounding mix with them. But you need to be aware that it is very hard to get accurate stereo image. Luckily, with a high quality metering tool like Levels, you can easily double check your ears and adjustments. For the purpose of this video, the main focus is obviously stereo field panel. Vector scope displays your audio placement in stereo field. Left and right meter at the bottom displays how even your channels are. Correlation meter displays similarity between left and right channels. If any of those meters will glow red, that means you need to focus on corresponding aspect. Wide sounding tracks are very ear-catching and exciting, yet you can't stretch every single one to the max. Stay away from using stereoizer style plugins on every track. Instead of achieving big sounds, it will result in very washed out and hollow mix. The most basic yet very effective technique is utilizing simple panning. The sense of width is all about the contrast between wide and narrow tracks. Most mixes translate best with few tracks panned wide and the rest of them panned narrowly. It's a common sense, but obviously bass sounds better in mono. But if you think about it, some main mix elements like for example vocals, keys or even synths sound great in mono as well. But making all main instruments in mono may completely clutter the sound. That's where the second technique, spreading frequencies, is very useful. The most common way to do this is to use mid-side processing. In this case, by using Mixroom EQ, I can choose a frequency range and then by clicking S, switch to side. You can check one of our latest videos if you want to know more about mid-side processing, but the one cool trick here is to use this stereo icon, and in that way you can choose the exact percent of side or mid image to be affected. Second way is using multiband stereo tools with a bit of dynamics. Just like the Grow module in Animate. The thing behind this approach is that in addition to filtering high frequencies, you can also add width dynamically, obviously without affecting the rest of the track. By dialing fast attack setting, you will catch transients, which in general contain a lot of high frequency material. It would be a shame to not mention effects like chorus, ping-pong delays or harmonizers. Those are great for fast results, and the best places to use them are mono synth tracks, guitars and backing vocals. You can also leverage the haze effect by using simple, fully wet delay with zero feedback and delaying only one channel. Although you need to be very careful with haze effect, because it's known from messing up correlation. So as long as it is not necessary, I would rather use chorus or short ping-pong delay. You probably heard a lot about checking mixes in mono and even mixing in mono. By listening to some stereo channels, it is easier to pick up hollow sound, disappearing elements, and finally phase cancellation issues. Panned stereo elements will sound quieter than elements positioned in the center, around 3 to 6 dB or less. Obviously, don't try to match their volume instantly. As long as they are audible without any artifacts, you're basically good to go. Just to quickly sum up today's video. White mixes are great, but just like all things in life, you can have too much of a good thing. I hope that my tips will help you to achieve white sounding mixes, but with rock solid stereo image. Just like always, if you're enjoying our content and if you want to know more about mixing, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And of course, check our other videos.